What's going on, people? Welcome to an In Motion Football live stream, day one of free agency. I can't even say it's in the books because it's not in the books. Any deal could happen at any point while we're live. So if something big happens, feel free to get that in the chat. My name is Alam, and today we're going to talk about basically everything that happened today. I think I'm going to find a way to address just about everything. A lot happened. I actually don't know exactly how I'm going to approach talking about this. I see all my homies are in the chat. So I'm actually going to consult with you guys. I see Will is here, Caden's here, Jared's here, I'm here as well. King is here. Jen Will is here. Sai is here. Time to Shine is here. Ravens fan is here. All the homies are here. Okay, that's very, very cool. I was thinking, no. This is all. It's welcomed. It's welcomed. I was thinking that we should just go team by team. Like, this website is really, 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 really good at dividing up the signing. So, for example, right, if I were to pick, let's say, Atlanta Falcons, it's going to show me everybody they've signed, and then I go to relinquished, and it shows me all the free agents they've lost. And I think we should go team by team. I think, because you know what it is too? I think you can't look at any one signing in a vacuum and not compare it to like what the team has going on generally. So we're just gonna go team by team. I see my people are are backstage. Shout out to you guys. I'm gonna get all my thoughts out first, and then I'll bring people in. So I'm probably gonna do a lot of rambling. So I'm gonna get all that out, and then I will have you guys on stage. Don't worry about it. You know what? Let's just do alphabetical order from the top. Arizona Cardinals. Damn, this table is too wide. Anyways, they've signed a bunch of mid. These guys, first of all, Gardner Minshew getting $5.7 million is crazy. But yeah, this is just a bunch of mid. These are role players for the most part. Isaac Samalo is a good offensive guard. But it looks like Arizona's just tried to turn some of their weaknesses into being average. They've only lost one player. They lost a safety. So Arizona was a bad team that had a lot of issues. They plugged in their issues to make them kind of mid. So that's been the approach so far. That's not a serious team to me. And it's kind of surprising to see for a GM that's probably in his last year. But it's Arizona. We don't need to talk too deep about Arizona. Atlanta, this is really where we have to fucking have some conversations. Because what the hell is this day one? First of all, let's just look at the teams, the players they lost, right? They lost Tyler Algier, backup running back, and they lost D. Alford, one of their corners. I think he was their slot corner, right? That's not a crazy set of players to lose. But what the hell did they add? First of all, right? I shit you not. These are their signings ordered by value. Number one is a punter. This is Jake Bailey, the punter. Their biggest free agent signing is a punter. They then got a backup tight end. They then got a backup edge rusher. They got a kicker, a third string receiver, like a wide receiver 3, and a special teamer. Christian Harris plays special teams. On top of that, the cherry on top of the shit sundae is they got Tua at quarterback. Now, I did a quarterback thing video before this, and I let go all of my thoughts about like every team's quarterback need. I predicted Kyler Murray goes to the Falcons because I knew that they wouldn't want to spend money. But I figured that they have probably one of the better situations for a quarterback to walk into. There's not that many rosters that can afford the quarterback Bijan Robinson and Drake London. And they took that and they gave it to Tua fucking Tagovailoa, bro. There's nobody that's off the market but Malik Willis. For the life of me, I can't understand picking Tua over Kyler. I can't even they cut Kirk Cousins, so I guess he's not an option. But I just cannot believe that this is what Atlanta's doing. We saw how their year went last year. I thought that they would have some urgency, but no. Bro, look at this. Look at this. Atlanta is crazy. I don't understand. I mean, this is Cardinal slander. I appreciate that. Why are Seattle not signed a running back until now? Hey, Sai, we'll talk about it. We'll get to Seattle. Alphabetical order. All right. That's Atlanta. Cool. Team number 3, Baltimore Ravens. So the Baltimore Ravens have lost a shit ton of players. So obviously the caveat here, Ravens fan is in the chat. The caveat here is that they added Max Crosby, and that's a pretty serious ad. But they've actually lost quite a bit. The fuck is Atlanta smoking? Who knows, bro? Their big free agency signings on day one are Tua and a punter. I swear to God. Facts. Joe Burrow is gonna have issues. But bro, look at what Baltimore lost. They lost their star center, Tyler Linderbaum. He's getting paid $27 million a year. And this is what I talk about with NFL free agency a lot, right? If you let a player go to free agency, you cannot assume people are going to make sense. You just have to assume that dumb shit is going to happen. $27 million a year. For those of you who don't know how big of an overpay this is, sorry. Well, okay, I'll give some context in a second, right? Look, the highest paid center is Creed Humphrey at $18 million a year. Then Cam Jurgens at $17 million a year. They gave Tyler Linderbaum $9 million more than the highest paid center. They made this man one of the all-time highest paid interior linemen ever. Now, the part of the reason you do that is out of desperation. Here's the thing. Linderbaum's actually a great player. And the Raiders basically just said, by hook or by crook, whatever it takes, we're getting Tyler Linderbaum. And that's how you pay a guy fucking 150% of the highest paid player in the league. 27 is insane. But at the end of the day, Vegas is basically they tore their team down to the bottom, right? You got to look at it this way. They're going to be shit for like 2 years. They're basically paying him 2 years just to be there, just to deal with the shit. And he's taking the money, right? There's no taxes in Las Vegas. He's going to be a very, very, very rich man, far richer than he ever could have been in Baltimore, right? So I can't blame Baltimore for letting him go. They let Isaiah Likely go. You can't pay 2 tight ends, and they picked Mark Andrews. I think that's the wrong choice, by the way. They let an edge rusher go, Draymond Jones. They traded for him at the trade deadline. They let their other tight end go, Charlie Kolar. He's a blocking tight end. And then they lost their punter. That's probably not a big deal, though. So the Ravens as a roster have kind of been purged a little bit. And the thing is that I don't think they had a great roster last year, right? Okay, I take that back. I don't think they were well coached last year. However, I still think their roster had flaws. The thing is, their roster got worse today. And they don't have draft picks to make it better. So the question becomes, how is Baltimore going to replenish all this stuff with a really compromised draft capital, right? They have no first-round picks. They got John Simpson, who's a good guard. He's going to be an upgrade over Falale. I don't know how his name is pronounced. But the point is they made one upgrade. And the upgrade from Simpson from Falale to Simpson might be offset by the downgrade that happens at center, because they're not going to get a center as good as Lindenbaum in the second round or the rest of free agency. So Baltimore took a bit of a hit. Finally have a good R&B. Look what Saquon did as a signing for the Eagles. Yeah, we're going to get to KC, man. Definitely a good player. How much guaranteed? $60 million guaranteed. $60 million. Raiders have second best coach in the league. Let's keep it real. So this is the other thing about the Raiders. When we get to them, we'll talk about them. I think they did a lot of smart things if you kind of put value to the side. But yeah, that's Baltimore. They kind of went through it. Okay, next team, Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, who did they lose? They lost one of their guards. This guy got $15 million a year. They lost a starting guard. They lost a fullback, and they lost their backup quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. What did they get? They got the backup quarterback back, Kyle Allen. They re-signed their punter, and they got a slot corner. So pretty minimal move so far for Buffalo. Like, Buffalo's in a weird spot where, I mean, again, there's still time for them to do things, right? But for the most part, where Buffalo is at is that they have pretty much the same offensive coaching staff. They have a different defensive coaching staff, and they pretty much have the same roster. They look like they're going to go into next year with a lot of continuity. And I'm not a big fan of having continuity when you're not actually that good, because if anything, staying the same year after year gives you it's harder to like be just as good and have the same record, because in football, again, teams learn you and understand you more and more as time goes on. Buffalo needs to be making changes to look different, because they're not good enough to just Hope nobody catches on to whatever it is that they do. Buffalo hasn't done much. Yes, they've basically done fuck all. Okay. Next team, Carolina Panthers. All right, they did they made one pretty serious move. Let me see who they lost. The Carolina Panthers, they lost their starting center and they lost Rico Dowdle. Actually, you know what? Rico Dowdle is a big loss. He's a big loss, bro. Chuba Hubbard is fine, but I think Rico Dowdle is better. And Chuba Hubbard has got hurt the last couple of years, I'm pretty sure. So they lost their starting center. They lost Rico Dowdle. I actually think those are some pretty decent losses. They gained just some random guys at corner. Like they re-signed them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you missed this? You guys got Rico Dowdle. Bro, it's just, you guys have Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle now. You lost Kenny Gainwell, though. But yeah, the Panthers got Kenny Pickett as their backup quarterback. Again, he's getting $7.5 million a year. I don't understand. The backup quarterback market is so fucking garbage. This is why personally I believe in drafting quarterbacks, because every single backup costs stupid money. But I need you guys to keep this in mind. The Panthers just gave up stupid money all offseason, right? They'd signed Jalen Phillips from the Eagles, and it sucks to lose Jalen Phillips because he was good for us, but not $30 million a year good. This is a guy who's torn his Achilles and his ACL in the NFL. He obviously was good for the Eagles last year, but like, this is a desperation signing. This is what you do when you're not actually a destination. We'll see if they're able to manage it. The thing is, I was gonna say they're a team with a quarterback on a rookie deal, so maybe that's why they're able to overpay like this. The same way Oakland is, or the Raiders are able to overpay because they're not going to be paying their quarterback much. But they're about to probably have to pay Bryce Young whatever they think he's worth, but it's not going to be cheap. And yeah, this is a massive sum of money. And if anything happens to him from an injury standpoint, that's pretty tough. That's going to be pretty tough for them. Ravens offered likely $13 million before the 2025 season, and he didn't want it. He messed up, man. He messed up. I think it would have been better for him to take that money and be the tight end for Baltimore. But yeah, Carolina Panthers, they had some decent losses. They made a big swing with Jalen Phillips. Their pass rush has been a problem for multiple years. This is a very aggressive attempt to solve it. We'll see if it actually pans out. But yeah, it just sucks for the Eagles. That being said, this is going to be a third-round pick compensatory. But it just sucks, man. Back-to-back years where the Eagles have to lose a great the Eagles have lost 3 great defensive linemen in the last 2 free agencies with Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and Jalen Phillips, because we're just great PR for these players. And they get insane deals in free agency. Milton Williams lived up to it, though. Next team in the alphabetical order is the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, what have they lost so far? Okay, so they've lost Tremaine Edmonds, a depth edge rusher, and a depth receiver. They also obviously lost Drew Dahlman to retirement. In free agency today, they re-signed their third-string quarterback. That's not a huge deal. They made a move for Neville Gallimore, who's like a depth defensive tackle, not a major move. I would say the 2 major moves they made here is that, oh, you're right, and the Dante Moore trade. So they lost Dante Moore, Drew Dahlman. They cut Tremaine Edmonds. I'm pretty sure hold on. Did they not sign Devin Bush? Am I tripping? I remember them getting Devin Bush today. But the main thing I was going to say is that, like, people need to keep an eye on the Bears offensive line, because they had to sign this guy, Braxton Jones, because their left tackle from last year is going to miss the entire year next year. And this guy was their left tackle 2 years ago, and he was hurt last year. So they are probably going to downgrade at the – sorry, I'm just going to look up Devin Bush in Twitter to make sure I didn't make that up. Where the fuck did he go? Yeah, Devin Bush went to Chicago. They missed that deal. Anyways, they replaced Tremaine Edmonds with Devin Bush from the Browns. And the only thing they added to their team here is Kobe Bryant. But the thing is, Kobe Bryant is going to replace one of their safeties that's a free agent. Braxton Jones, this guy's going to replace their left tackle that's going to miss the year. The thing about the Bears is that the Bears haven't done anything to get better yet. And this is something you guys need to keep in mind. The Bears have to do quite a bit in terms of spending just to get back to where they were last year, because they have 2 free agents in the secondary, Um, and they're missing basically every piece of their offense. Well, two pieces of their offensive line that are very key. Their center retired, who was pretty good last year. They replaced him with the Patriots center, who was getting cooked all playoffs. And then their left tackle got hurt, and they replaced him with the guy that they felt they needed to upgrade from going into last year in Braxton Jones. So I think the Bears have to do more than just that. Like, they have to give themselves a shot to be on par with where they were last year as an offensive line. But I think they probably think that they're going to be replacing DJ Moore with Luther Burden's progression as a player and Colston Loveland's progression as a player. But that being said, okay, yeah, I was still talking about the Chiefs. But yeah, that all being said, like, the Bears haven't got better yet. And I think if they don't make noticeable strides to get better, no, bro, the Colts lost Pittman. We're gonna get to them though. If the Bears don't make strides to get better, I think they're gonna have a hard time replicating what they did last year. I think this is a team that's primed for a minor regression, but a regression nonetheless. Yo. Okay, this is what Will, you and me, we're gonna bond a lot next year because, bro, this is something I experienced with the Eagles twice. When you win a Super Bowl, your coaching staff gets rated. Every single free agent has the peak value, bro. There's no such thing as a fair contract when you win a Super Bowl because everybody's value is the peak that it could possibly be. And they're all going to go sign a bunch of bad contracts on other teams and probably get cut or renegotiated fairly early into their deals. But that doesn't really help because then you just look at your roster and you're like, fuck, it's really hard to replace all these guys. But yeah, this is life in the NFL. But yeah, man. Hey, next year, Will, I think you guys are going to need a lot of your young players to take big steps forward just to make up what's going to be lost. Next team we're looking at in the alphabetical order is the Cincinnati Bengals, who, speaking of the Seahawks players, they signed Boye Mafe to a $20 million a year contract. This guy, if you guys remember, right, we all watched Seattle in a bunch of big football games. Boye Mafe was a part of the pass rush. Like, Boye Mafe was, I think he was a starter on paper, but the point is, bro, he was a rotational player. They rotated him in and out of the team. What I'll say is, though, he's a good player, right? That's why he was a part of a Super Bowl winning team. Brian Cook is a good player too. The Bengals signed two good defensive players from Super Bowl winning teams. I like that part of it. The numbers aren't great, but it is what it is. Those are two good pieces. The key issue with Cincinnati, and mind you, they haven't lost much either. The key issue with Cincinnati is that their offensive line is still going to be shit. And I remember seeing a stat before the offseason started where they made a point to re-sign every single one of their offensive linemen from last year that was a free agent. So they've put themselves in a position where they can bring back their whole offensive line from last year. And the question I couldn't help but ask myself is, why the fuck would you want to do that? Why did they look at their offensive line and say, we need to bring this back? I have the same questions about Houston, by the way. We're going to talk about them. But this is the issue, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with these two players you signed, but what is the plan at offensive line? Yes. He's a good rotational player, right? The issue with Cincinnati now is they're going to make him a starter. Not only a starter, they're going to make him the Trey Hendrickson replacement. And that's fucking stupid. But that's what they're going to do. And this is just what happens to Super Bowl teams, man. Everybody gets gassed. But yeah, Cincinnati, man, your offensive line is in trouble. Cleveland Browns. They lost. See, the Devin Bush deal isn't here either. They lost their starting linebacker and they lost a depth edge. In terms of what they added, they replaced Devin Bush with Quincy Williams from the Jets. The only thing that's kind of weird about this is that I don't think Quincy Williams isn't young. I just don't know why they wouldn't be signing young players. The other player they signed, they gave pretty decent money, $16.5 million a year, to Zion Johnson. And this is the reason I was looking forward to this. Jen Will is here. Jen Will, is Zion Johnson good? Like, am I missing something? I didn't think he was a strength. And the thing I have to ask Cleveland about is that they've added they've made two big transactions to get offensive linemen this offseason so far. They traded for Titus Howard from Houston, and then they paid Zion Johnson. And it's just weird to me. It's like who when trying to build an offensive line says, "Yo, let me go get linemen from Houston and the Chargers." Like Houston and the Chargers are two organizations that as is are trying to figure it out themselves. All year I heard General complain about the center, the guy who retired, I forget his name, and Mekhi Becton. And like the Chargers were trying to figure it out themselves. Houston was trying to figure it out themselves. Why is Cleveland going to those two teams for offensive linemen? That I won't be able to understand. But yeah, Cleveland has done fuck all to get better. They've just got two, I would say, probably average offensive linemen, because he says he's decent mid-level. I'd say Titus Howard is maybe a little bit above mid-level, but they got two mediocre offensive linemen, and that's all. He was a rotation. That's nasty. That's nasty. Just signed. Oh, hold on. Which Williams? Hold on. Which Williams just got signed by the Titans? Hmm. It's not popping up on my thing. But yeah, Cleveland, they barely got better. All right, next team in the order. We're going to look at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, fairly uneventful free agency. Wait, what? No, not available. Oh, okay. So Dallas has not lost a free agent yet, and the only move that they've added is a safety. They added Jalen Thompson. So fairly uneventful for Dallas so far. They have a new defensive coordinator, and I thought that they were going to bless him and get him some pieces. But obviously, the thing with Dallas is they have to figure George Pickens out. They paid Javonte Williams already. It looks like they're probably going to return their good offense from last year. But yeah, they need to do quite a bit defensively. Actually, hold on. No. They traded for Rashawn Gary this morning. That was another thing that was weird, by the way, because Rashawn Gary was about to get cut, and then they traded a 4th-round pick for him. And that just doesn't add up to me, because surely if someone's about to get cut, all you would have to do to get them is like maybe a 7th or 6th-round pick. But they gave up a decent draft pick for Rashawn Gary. The only thing that's funny to me about that is that, like, Rashawn Gary is the pass rusher that Green Bay said, that guy's not good enough. You know what we should do? We should go get Micah Parsons. And then Micah Parsons gets traded from Dallas to Green Bay. And Dallas finds themselves thinking, oh my God, our pass rush is shit. What should we do? Let's go get Rashawn Gary. Tell me how that makes sense. How does that make sense? How do you go get the pass rusher that Green Bay felt that they needed to upgrade from, or upgrade with Micah Parsons? Like, that one's a weird one. That one is a weird one. Was it? Hold on. They franchise tag Starman? Yeah, they franchise tag George Pickens. Skip the shit, boys. Fair enough, bro. I was done. There's not much else to say. Okay, Denver Broncos. Want to talk about a team that has not much to talk about? Denver Broncos. They've lost one free agent. They lost a defensive tackle. A good one, by the way. Somebody that was actually important. And the only money they spent was on keeping the team together. They paid J.K. Dobbins and Alex Singleton, two players that were already on the team. So, I mean, this is, again, another this happens to teams where if they get tricked into thinking they're good, they might think that what we have to do is make sure our team doesn't get blown up and try to run it back next year. And this is just the problem. Like, everyone complained, oh, Denver had such an easy schedule. They're not actually that good. The thing is, it's actually a bad thing for them to have an unrealistic expectation of how good they are. And this is the price you pay. Like, it's clear that Denver isn't aggressive, thinking they have to get better. Bro, they're just here chilling. They're just here trying to keep their team together and assuming that their young players will get better and they'll be pretty good next year. I don't think it's going to work out that way. But yeah, all they've done is re-sign players, and I don't think they kind of won the Parsons trade. Hot take. Obviously not with the talent of Micah. But that season wasn't as bad as we thought. I get what you're saying. Like, I get the logic that you're saying here. What I would say though is that like the defense did suffer from not having an edge rush, and we don't know how much better this season could have been had they had a good pass rusher. So it's just like an unknown. I get what you're saying though. The Cowboys weren't the disaster it looked like they were going to be. But yeah, Denver need inside linebacker, tight end. Yeah, man, they just need to like they need weapons, dude. I don't think their running backs, their running back and receiver rooms are like super impressive, but they're doing nothing. They're doing a whole lot of nothing. Next team we're gonna look at is Detroit. Now, this is the issue with Detroit, in my opinion, right? First of all, they lost some decent pieces, right? This guy was a rotational defensive lineman for them. Amik Robertson was their starting slot corner, and he was good for them. Alex Anzalone was their starting linebacker. He was good for them as well. They lost all that. The only pieces they've added are two offensive linemen here, Cade Mays and Larry Borum. Now, the thing is, though, to just be quite frank, this is some mid here. I don't think these guys are bad, but these players are very mid. But this is necessary because they basically tore up their whole offensive line, and they need to give themselves at least some bodies and some options. But this is not the way to do it, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe you need to make sure that like you can put some mid out there, unless there's like, to avoid having trash players out there. But I just think that their team is super dependent on having a great offensive line because you need to keep Goff like clean, completely clean, and you need to make sure that the running game is functioning at a high level so that Goff has an easy job. So I just don't think that they can afford to have an okay offensive line. Maybe that's where my like skepticism comes from, but this is the wrong approach. It was kind of karma for J.K. Dobbins. I think talked some smack towards the Chargers, then injured himself. That man stays injured though, bro. It doesn't matter what he'd say, he would get injured. Maybe Ragnow could start training again. Bro, his hamstring got complete. Like, he got, oh my goodness. Is this true? Is this true? The Green Bay Packers haven't signed anyone. So they lost their starting linebacker. Look, this guy got paid $10 million. Rotational pass rusher, but a good one. And they lost their backup quarterback. And they have signed absolutely nobody. The Packers' only addition they made was Zaire Franklin, but clearly that's a replacement for Quay Walker, one of their linebackers that they lost. So the Zaire Franklin trade is to replace Quay Walker, but yeah, the Packers have done absolutely nothing to get better. I think they cut one of their offensive linemen. They re-signed some of their own guys. I don't know why it's not showing here. They re-signed one of their guards, Sean Ryan. But yeah, man, the Packers, again, absolutely nothing to get better so far. There's obviously it's just day one. But I mean, yeah, this is a roster that, yeah, they lost Micah down the stretch, but they need more than like, it's not like if they had Micah, they were going to be a Super Bowl team or something. Like, this team needed to get better. But the Packers have historically been a very inactive team. Like, their GMs have usually been very conservative, and this is just this is very much what the Packers do. Packers GM didn't wake up till now. No, hey, bro, he's not the only one. He's not the only one. We're gonna get to it. But yeah, Packers haven't done much. Next team, Houston Texans. Okay, this is another team I'm gonna talk about this team very similarly to how I talked about the Bengals, right? Because all right, they lost a defensive tackle and a special teamer, and they added a depth defensive end, and they added Reed Blankenship, and I'm assuming he's going to be there to replace what's his name, Jimmy Ward, who they cut. But the thing is bro, Houston, you have to do something about your offensive line. Yeah, they traded for Zaire Franklin, who's a linebacker from Indy, but that's just to replace Quay Walker that they just lost. So if anything, that's a bit of a downgrade. Considering that Zaire Franklin, I think, is 29. But yeah, it's just to replace somebody that fuck the O-line, it's the entire offense. But you know what though? Is like, I do like David Montgomery because they got David Montgomery from Detroit. But the issue is that it doesn't matter what you have at running back if your offensive line is garbage. And I was talking to Jared today about how, if you think about it, right, Houston's offensive line actually got worse because the only two signings they've made are re-signing their own players before free agency. So they re-signed two of their guys that could have been free agents, but besides that, they've actually traded away offensive linemen because they traded away an offensive lineman to the Cleveland, Titus Howard, and then they traded away Juice Scruggs for David Montgomery. So, like, hilariously, Houston's offensive line as of March 9th, roughly 8:40 p.m., it legitimately got worse. Houston is signing up. And again, I think Reed Blankenship is going to be sick. And I mean this, right? Because Reed Blankenship, this is the story with him, right? I'm an Eagles fan, so I know it very well. If you make him play in small spaces because his teammates are good, like he doesn't actually have to put out fires that his teammates are starting. If you let him play in a small space, he's amazing. But if you put a kind of shitty set of teammates around him and he has to start putting out fires and covering more ground, he's probably going to suffer because he's not athletic. But yeah, you put him on Houston with all those great secondary players, Reed Blankenship is going to be awesome. But where the fuck does that get us? Where does having a great defense get us? Now, the tricky thing is again, right? You have to think about how sometimes teams can be failing, like they can fail themselves because of how they see themselves, right? Houston probably thinks, holy shit, if CJ Stroud just didn't throw 5 picks, we're in the Super Bowl. Right? Because they would have beat Denver with Jarrett Stidham. So they're probably looking at it this way, like CJ Stroud threw 5 picks, but if he threw like 3 instead of 5, we're probably in the Super Bowl. And that's the problem, is because if you did get to the Super Bowl, it would have been because you were in a very weak conference, right? Houston had to come back this year, which is with a significantly better offensive line, and they legitimately have a worse offensive line as of right now. So we'll see. You know, again, we're literally only in day one, but as of yet, I'm looking at Cincinnati and Houston, and I'm wondering what the hell they think is going to happen next year. CJ, man doesn't need respect. Coleridge. This is true. They need a quarterback that doesn't choke in the playoffs. See, but okay, I see where you guys are going with the Coleridge slander, and that's completely fine with me. But this is my point. If your quarterback is dying to throw an interception, you know what you should do? You should build an amazing ground game. And I think David Montgomery is step 1 towards building an amazing ground game, right? But they need to build the offensive line to facilitate it, because yeah, David Montgomery is going to help you control the game, keep CJ Stroud in second and manageable, not have to have him throw the ball more than 25 times. That's step 1 in the right direction. But there's like 5 steps left, and they all involve the offensive line. So this is the problem, man. This is the problem they just think way too highly of themselves. Okay, we're going to move past Houston. We're going to go to Indy. Whose big move today was re-signing Alec Pierce. They brought in Arden Key. For those of you who aren't familiar, Alec Pierce is about to get paid $28.5 million a year. That's big money. If you look at what they've lost, they lost Kwity Paye and Neville Gallimore. So Arden Key is basically a Kwity Paye replacement. That's like a wash. But they lost one of their depth defensive tackles, and they gained nothing. They just re-signed Alec Pierce. Looks like Indy's, like, you know what it is? The Indy has no first round picks because of the Sauce Gardner trade, which is an indication that they think their roster is pretty good. They traded Michael Pittman away basically because you can't pay Alec Pierce this big money and still have Michael Pittman under contract for his big salary. My issue with Alec Pierce is this, right? This evaluation, there's this one kind of evaluation that happens in football that I really hate. And the evaluation is, you see a player in a small role excel very, like they do a really good job in their small role. And you then just make the assumption that they're better suited for a big role. This is, to me, a major assumption. And it's one that I think usually bites teams in the ass. Alec Pierce had 1,000 yards last year, and I think he had like 800 yards before that. And this was as a wide receiver too, in an offense that didn't really throw the ball that much. Because even with Daniel Jones, they weren't like a throw heavy offense. This was Jonathan Taylor's offense, right? So you're wide receiver two in a run first offense, you're gonna have a hard time getting yards. And to Alec Pierce's credit, he did an amazing job in that role. Because I say this knowing that the Eagles have been a run first offense. It's tough for Devontae Smith to get much more than like 1,100 yards. That's a tough spot to be wide receiver two in a run first offense. And Alec Pierce did a phenomenal job. However, I think that just assuming because he thrived as a wide receiver two, that he can then make the jump to wide receiver one is horrible. Is horrible. Like, I would not feel comfortable giving Alec Pierce this kind of money. I would want to see him spend 1 year as a wide receiver one to truly evaluate what his capabilities are. But they decided, and it's not even that they decided. I'm sure this is more money that they would have wanted to pay, but the Patriots were there, the Chargers were there, the Titans were there. There were a bunch of teams that wanted to throw Alec Pierce money, and so they had to choose. We either lose this guy. Damn, sorry, I got USA Mexico on TV baseball in front of me. Damn, USA just scored. Wait. He's out. They didn't score. Damn. But yeah, I think this signing is gonna bite them in the ass. When I look at King says, damn it. When I look at the Colts offense, I think their offensive line is good. I think Jonathan Taylor is great. I think Tyler Warren is great. And I think Alec Pierce and Josh Downs are good players, but I think they're both, in my opinion, wide receiver, like 2-3-ish kind of players. This offense is missing a quarterback and a wide receiver one, but that's going to be their state in an offseason where they pay Alec Pierce $28 million and Daniel Jones at least 40. So they're going to have very expensive pieces at the parts of their offense that aren't good. And I just think that this is how it starts. Like this is how a horrible season starts. Like, again, I just think the expectations are going to be all wrong. I think Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen are in their last year. And yeah, I just don't think this roster is good enough. But yeah, paying Alec Pierce $28.5 million is a joke. And losing Pittman is big because Pittman's a pretty good player. Like, I think Pittman is a part of, again, he's almost the opposite, right? Pittman has had to be wide receiver one his whole career out of circumstance because Indy put him in that situation. And that's probably too much to ask for. But he did an okay job as a wide receiver one. In Pittsburgh as a wide receiver two, I think he's going to have a way easier job and probably thrive quite a bit. Yeah, this was a joke, man. This is a joke. But again, this is just what desperate teams do. Next team to look at, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jesus, no way this is the case. Okay, the only thing that's happened with the Jags so far is they've lost Travis Etienne. He's a New Orleans Saint. He's gonna leave Trevor Lawrence for the first time in 8 years because they've been teammates in Jacksonville and they were in college together. So finally, Travis Etienne leaves Jacksonville, but this is kind of weird to me because I don't know why Jacksonville isn't spending money. They spent a good amount of money keeping their own players because they paid Jacoby Myers, they paid Monteric Brown, they paid somebody else. They've been paying a lot of their own players. Sai, this is what I was telling you about, man. The Saints and the Chiefs both signed big money running backs. That means there's a clear indication that Love is going high in the draft. But yeah, man, Jaguars, I think they were a good team last year, but I don't look at that team as like, oh, this team is like, has all this potential to be amazing. I thought that they needed to get more talented and they seem to be pretty relaxed about the year. Again, there's not a bunch of big ticket free agents left. They literally don't have a first round pick. So there's no avenue for the Jacksonville to get significantly better. So yeah, I think there's some regression coming here. Yes, exactly. No, I completely agree. I think they're a well-coached team that's not that talented, and it's very arrogant for them to assume that they don't have to get better. Their issue is, I guess, they're paying Trevor Lawrence big money, and that makes everything more difficult. But yeah, Jaguars, be careful thinking you're a great team. Okay, next team, Kansas City Chiefs. For the Chiefs fans in the chat, the Chiefs have lost basically their secondary. They traded away McDuffie. They lost Watson to the same team. They lost Cook. They lost Joshua Williams. Their whole secondary is gone. They lost Gardner Minshew. But if we look at what they added, they kept Kelsey. They got Kyrie's Tonga. This is going to be a good backup defensive tackle. The big addition of the day, though, is K9. K9 gets just under $15 million a year. I sat here and I told you guys he's going to push that 15 number because, again, I mentioned this when I talked about when I was talking to Will about just what happens to all your free agents when you win a Super Bowl. That shit gets rough. But yeah, man, K9 to the Seahawks. My thoughts about this are that he's going to be a good player for the Chiefs. Andy Reid is really good at scheming up good looks for like understanding how to get the most out of a running back. He's got the most out of a ton of running backs. His main issues at the running back position is when he thinks he can get the most out of scrubs. But K9's not a scrub, so he's going to do a good job of getting the most out of K9. K9 has never played with a quarterback that gets as much attention as Patrick Mahomes gets, so he's going to have a pretty easy life from that standpoint. My issue with this is the Chiefs have to get their offensive line sorted out because you can't get the best K9 without a functional offensive line. And I think getting the best K9 is going to be a pretty important part of this deal. Chiefs, I cannot open this. I hope this website doesn't act stupid. As of right now, it is being stupid. Let me see Chiefs depth chart. $25, $26. This is old. I mean, I can still use this to drive the point home. Yo, you have no, continue. Man, you have an ad block too? These people are haters. Actually, I dealt with this before. 1 second. I'm going to turn the ad block off. Yeah, Kaden, I'm going to send the link later. I'm just going to get all my thoughts out and then we'll get to it. Okay, bro. Josh Simmons, I'm comfortable with that. Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, I'm comfortable with those two spots. It's Kingsley and Jalen Moore that I think there needs to be some upgrades. And yeah, that's the only thing that's kind of like stopping me from being all the way behind what this new look Chiefs offense could be. Because, I mean, maybe I should temper this a little bit because it's not like Seattle had an amazing offensive line. But the thing is, they had an amazing scheme because Clint Kubiak is very, very, very good at what he does. And his offense is very running back friendly. But then again, so can Andy Reid's offense. I don't know. I just think that they need to get the offensive line figured out because the offensive line hasn't been good enough for, I would say, 2 years now. And Mahomes is coming year one off of an ACL injury. So for multiple reasons, this is also true. Hold on. Damn, where is it? Chiefs got a record of drafting good corners. Yeah, so this is what I was going to get to with the secondary. Reckon we might draft Downs. You could draft Downs. We'll see where he goes in the draft. You could draft Downs, I guess. We need edge, wide receiver, defensive line. I think Rubin or Fano, both would be good. What you need wide receiver for, you got Worthy and Rice. I think the only tricky thing here, Will, is that Rice is having a lot of issues. I just don't know what his future is going to look like with the law. And the thing about Worthy, bro, honestly, truthfully, I think Worthy is a wide receiver 3, in my opinion. I don't think he's a 1 or a 2. I think his skill set was always brushed under the rug because of how fast he is. It's not, again, I think he's an NFL receiver, but I do think the Chiefs could probably stand to use a better receiver. Yeah, Rice is having issues. Also, that's not his brother, I don't think. They just are both Allen. Kadarius Toney 2.0. I get why you would say that. Maybe not as bad as Kadarius Toney. Like definitely not as bad as Kadarius Toney, but same issue of just like sometimes freak athletes distract people from a lack of skill. Yeah, I can't lie. The wide receivers we have don't really do it for me. This is facts. This is the thing though. Like the thing you have to consider is that you guys have not had a dominant rushing attack since Kareem Hunt rookie year. There's a chance your receivers are fine in an offense where your ground game is dominant. Like if you guys, because you referenced Saquon Barkley, right? If you guys have a dominant rushing attack, where it doesn't have to be all Kenneth Walker, but if it's Kenneth Walker and his backup are going for like 2,000 yards on the ground, it's going to make the passing game way easier to execute because defenses are going to be keying in on the run. Your receivers might be okay if you're a dominant running team. This is what I think. I don't think you guys are going to magically get 2 more receivers considering how many needs you have. You're not going to just magically get 2 receivers and become a balanced offense. In my head, the way to make the Chiefs offense really good this year in one offseason is make the offensive line really good so that you can run the shit out of the ball and then just hope that Mahomes can make magic out of whatever weapons he has against defenses that are focused on the run. That's my outlook on things. But again, making the offensive line great to me involves upgrading Kingsley and Jalen Moore. I don't know what their options are. I don't know what they can make happen, but I just think that like that's the way to do it. I don't think I'd take another rookie. Linderbaum chooses money over a Super Bowl. Facts, but the money he chose was serious money, bro. They gave him $9 more million than Creed Humphrey. That's crazy. We need more options to protect Pack. I agree. So this is my main thing with Kenneth Walker is like there's no issues with the signing. Like the player, sorry. He's a great player. But yeah, it's just they have more work to do. And again, this number, 13 for almost 15 mil, that's a number that makes it harder to address those other needs. But again, like I don't know. It won't look like an overpay if your offensive line is good. It might look like an overpay if your offensive line isn't good. 22 million a year is a lot, but bro, 27 in Vegas, no taxes. My goodness. But yeah, Chiefs, more work to be done. K9 is their best running back since rookie year Hunt. And we'll see what they can do. Again, they need a weapon. They need some weapons. They need an offensive line. I forgot to address the secondary. Time to Shine made a good point about how the secondary is the part of the Chiefs that they've always been able to replenish. So as of right now, like if I'm looking at what they had, they signed Christian Fulton last year, but I don't think he's that good. They converted Shamari Connor to safety. I mean, I think he's okay. Jaden Hicks, I think he's probably going to be ready to play year 3 for him. Noel Williams, they drafted to play. So I would say they have like 4 players that they're probably ready to play, but only 2 that I think they should be like excited about with Hicks and Williams. Fulton is trash. That's what I heard. Because you've been saying it a lot. But yeah, the thing about the Chiefs is that they've consistently been good at drafting and developing secondary talent, right? I think about just all the secondary players they've had over the years. Marcus Peters, L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie. At safety, they found a way to get their hands on like Eric Berry's and Justin Reed's and Tyrann Mathieu. Like the Chiefs are good at addressing the secondary. The issue is that you don't just magically address the secondary. It costs you money in draft picks. And your money in draft picks that it's going to take to address the secondary is going to make it harder to address the offensive line and the receiver position and pass rushers. So it's just like, I don't know if the Chiefs have enough bread to address everything in one offseason, which is why I think they should focus on the offensive line and just hope to be a team that runs the fuck out of the ball and see if Pat can win you a Super Bowl like that. Because I think he could. But yeah, Chiefs, I expect to see a lot more moves. Okay, next team we're going to look at the Las Vegas Raiders. So we're going to look at their losses first just to see if they lost anyone. Oh my God. Look at what the Las Vegas Raiders lost. Oh my God. They lost Kenny Pickett. See, okay, that's like next to nothing. That might be a positive. Look at what they added though, right? Tyler Lindenbaum. Is this an overpay? Of course, but is he good at football? Yes. Kwity Paye. $16 million, another overpay. But this guy's an athletic freak. There's some upside. It's only a 3-year deal. So if he sucks, you can get rid of him. Quay Walker, is it an overpay? Probably a bit of an overpay, but he's good at football. Nakobe Dean, $12 million a year. Pretty good at football. Jalen Naylor, almost $12 million a year. Is that an overpay? Yeah, but he is a wide receiver 3. Like he's a respectable football player. They brought back Eric Stokes and Malcolm Kuntz. This is some mid here. This is some mid. I say this to say, I don't know if the Raiders signed one bad football player, and that's rare. That's really, really, really rare. I think it's pretty common for the Raiders to at least sign one player that's bullshit. I think the potential for bullshit here is Kwity Paye. But yeah, I don't know. Tyler Lindenbaum gives them 2 good offensive linemen now because they always had Colton Miller at left tackle. Now they have Colton Miller and Linderbaum. So that's a starting point. I'm assuming they can use number 14 to get a guard. And now they could, in theory, have 3 good offensive linemen. But yeah, the Raiders are tearing things down to the bottom. And at the very minimum, they've started by adding some good players. None of these deals are bigger than 3 years. If you look at this column here, all 3-year deals. JPJ will be starting guard. Yeah, I don't think he's good. So I think that's an issue. I think that's an issue, but Linderbaum and Colton Miller are going to be good. Again, I think the Raiders are still far away from being actually a good team, but I don't think they've made bad moves besides the overpays. And again, the overpays are going to be in the early parts of their rebuild where winning doesn't actually matter. And yeah, again, I think this is maybe the Clint Kubiak effect of just like having a sensible football mind, providing good input. Again, this team's not going to be good next year, but they might just not be an embarrassment anymore. And I just like to see what they can do because they still have more money to spend, bro. The Raiders have a very empty team, especially after trading Max Crosby. All right, that's the Raiders. Next team we're gonna look at Jen Will's Chargers. Who've they lost? They've lost Odafe Owe, who got huge money from Washington, $25 million a year. After getting traded for a 5th-round pick, by the way. Odafe Owe was traded for a 5th-round pick in the middle of the year. Ends up getting $25 million a year, man. That's crazy. And Zion Johnson for $16 million a year. Lost a couple pieces. I guess you could say they replaced the center that retired, the guy that Jen Will hated. They replaced him with Biadish, who is solid, a respectable player, right? They got Cole Strange from interesting here, 2 Miami Dolphins that they signed. That's the McDaniel effect there. They signed a Raven. That's the Harbaugh connection. Like the Chargers are so funny from that standpoint, but it's like you clearly see they're signing people they're familiar with. What I was going to say is when you look at all these signings, this is all about the running game, right? 2 offensive linemen, one of the better blocking tight ends in football. Like $8 million a year is insane to me, but I guess he's going to play a lot because he is a really good blocking tight end. And then Alec Ingold, the fullback in Miami, who knows this offense really, really, really well. I think Ingold, Biadish, and Kolar is going to help them with having a ground game. And I think if the Chargers have a really good ground game, they're going to have a good offense because I think Herbert, similar to what I'm saying with Mahomes, like even if Herbert doesn't have the best weapons, and I think his weapons are fine, by the way, because Gadsden's going to get better. McConkey should get better. Quentin Johnson should get better. Trey Harris should get better, right? Their passing games, their weapons are probably okay. But if their ground game is great, Herbert's going to have an easy time playing against defenses. My only question is I don't understand not addressing the defense. I think the defense might be kind of trash next year. But it's just between losing Jesse Minter and replacing him with a random guy and what it looks like in terms of them not really addressing the defense. I think the defense might be a little bit trash next year, but the offense might be sick. So when we watch Chargers Chiefs games next year, we honestly might be looking at like very high scoring games. I don't mind if he goes, but I don't want the baggage. Are we talking about AJ Brown? But yeah, that's what I'll say about the Chargers, man. It looks like they're shaping up to be an offensive football team, which is not inherently an issue. But this is the issue. This is the thing, though, bro. You guys are going to be a running team. When I think about what you guys are on, like when I think about Harbaugh's ideology and literally the direction of your free agents, it looks like you guys are going to be like Omari and Hampton FC next year. And I don't think AJ. It doesn't make sense for AJ to get out of Philly to go to another run first offense. Like it don't. This is the thing. Like it only makes sense for AJ to leave for a high flying passing attack. Like I don't he should be, I don't know, like Tampa Bay or something, like this would not make sense. He does need new legs. The new legs are loading though. So yeah, Chargers, man, we need some defensive moves. Rams, hey man, what have they lost? Oh, they haven't lost anything. The Rams have yet to lose a free agent, and they added Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie, and they still have a first round pick. Obviously, the Rams were a good roster last year. It's not like they have a ton of weaknesses, so you can like that makes sense in their approach to not really making big moves. Damn, I think Aaron Judge just hit a homer. Yeah, Aaron Judge just hit a homer. But yeah, man, their secondary was a weakness last year. They added two players from Kansas City, two Super Bowl winners from Kansas City. Um, Pretty decent. Yeah, building the Chiefs 2.0. Pretty decent. Like, hey, I can't be mad. If I was a Rams fan, I would not be mad at all. All rise. My only question is that like if Stafford goes down, what happens? Because it looks like they're gonna lose Garoppolo. We'll see who they get as a backup quarterback. But yeah, man, like the only thing saving us from this Rams super team is Stafford's fucking old man back giving him issues. But yeah, dude, I mean, again, they had a weakness in the secondary and they're addressing it aggressively. Hard to fault that. Hey man, hey, we had him strapped up. We had him strapped up north of the border. Miami Dolphins. Hold on. So Miami Dolphins lost those two players to the Chargers. They lost another offensive lineman and they lost Jake Bailey. Um, and they added Malik Willis. So between the trades, because they also traded Minka Fitzpatrick, right? They traded Minka Fitzpatrick. They cut Tyreek. They cut Tua. Like the Dolphins are having a mass exodus, and then they brought in Malik Willis. So it's kind of funny like that, where it's interesting. Like, why does this quarterback want to sign for the roster that's clearly getting shit? Do you think Hill's coming back to the Chiefs? I think so. Like, why would Malik Willis, if given the opportunity to sign somewhere else, why would he come to this team for this shit? Um, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, no, he's an offensive lineman, bro. You gotta no. Yeah, you got what, two offensive linemen. Biotish is a center, Cole Strange is a guard. Tax-free Florida settings, I guess, right? But it's like this team, this roster is going to be despicable. It's just Devon A Chain and vibes. And here's the thing, right? I'm asking this, like, I understand what must have got the deal done because the Packers general manager is from Green. Sorry, the Dolphins general manager is from Green Bay, and their coach is from Green Bay as well. So it's a continuity thing. Like clearly they know him pretty well. They must like him. He must like them. But like, do you really think you're going to be able to build your career on this garbage football team? I don't think their offensive line was great last year. That being said, they lost two more offensive linemen and they haven't signed anyone. The thing you have to keep in mind, they just paid Tua $100 million to fuck off. They just paid him 200 like sorry $100 million to fuck off. So there's not that much money to spend on the rest of the team. They're letting guys go. They're getting younger. They're getting worse. Like the Dolphins are going to be horrible. Um, where else could he go where he would start? And The tricky part of this question is wondering who was interested in him. But I thought that he could go to the Cardinals and at least have the two receivers and Trey McBride. I thought that I wouldn't have been surprised if the Vikings were interested. I guess they're not because there's no way you pick Miami over Minnesota. I thought that there could have been a world where the Steelers or the Colts were interested. Like, it's just tough to know who was actually interested. Maybe the fact that he signed in Miami suggests that there wasn't really that much interest. But at the same time, he still got, if you look at this deal, $22.5 million a year, which, mind you, it's basically what Justin Fields got last year, which was a pretty small, and it was had a pretty small guarantee. Oh, fuck, never mind. He got $45 million guaranteed. I don't know, man. 2-year commitment to a sinking ship. Trust the process, Miami version. That's what it is. Like, how many good oils are there available right now? Because it seemed like they had a hard position to find. This is true. You're not wrong, Will. You're not wrong. There's a reason why all these teams need offensive linemen. There's not that many good ones. AZ went for older guys with experience. I don't think the starter market wanted him. Yeah, so AZ, they also are paying Kyler Murray like $50 million to fuck off, right? So a lot of these quarterbacks got paid to fuck off, and their rosters are getting cheap. We briefly talked about Arizona, but their plan next year is to go with Jacoby Brissett as the starter and Gardner Minshew as the backup. So I don't know. I guess if you look at it that way, they must have looked at Jacoby Brissett as the starter the whole time. So I guess they weren't interested. I guess Minnesota is gonna go a different direction. Bro, 5 quarterbacks got paid to fuck off. Kirk is one of them. Tua, Kyler, Geno Smith, and Justin Fields all got paid to fuck off. But yeah, Miami's process sucks. Like, I mean, their GM is in his first year. Yo, 3-run homer. 3-run homer from Roman Anthony. God damn. Fucking Roman Empire and shit. But yeah, Miami is gonna stink next year, people. Next team to look at, the Minnesota Vikings. Haha, okay. This team, I mean, they lost a punter and they lost their third string receiver. That's not a huge deal. But what did they add? They added Lamar Jackson's cousin. That's all I know about James Pierre, Steelers cornerback. They gave him next to nothing. Like, this is not a serious move to make. But yeah, man, Minnesota, you just had an embarrassing season and there's like no aggressiveness, right? They don't even have an expensive quarterback. So there should be money to spend on this roster, right? You didn't pay Sam Darnold. You didn't pay anybody. Or like, your quarterback under roster is JJ McCarthy. He's on a rookie deal. Like, what's the hang up here? I thought Minnesota would be really aggressive to bounce back. But he's been pretty shit. Oh, sorry, they've been pretty shit in free agency. DJ not yet because he wants 50 mil, but he'll get overpaid. He'll get overpaid for sure. Indy's desperate. Just said JJ was gonna be a superstar. Yo, so did Justin Jefferson, but bro, like, apparently the Vikings they want Kyler Murray. I'll talk about that if it happens. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that, but like, I don't know, man. There's no moves at all. Their center just retired. They have to replace him. They need some pieces defensively because their defense took a step back last year. They cut some old guys. They cut Javon Hargrave. They cut Aaron Jones. Yeah, man. Like, the Vikings actually are oddly. They look like they're kind of starting a bit of a reload. Like, I think they might be not that good next year. Like, and they weren't that good last year. But like, the understanding was that they were actually an okay team, but their quarterback was shit. No, I think they might just actually be like not that great next year, like across the board. That's where Minnesota's at. New England Patriots. Shout out to Leon, wherever Leon's at. The New England Patriots, off a very hyped season. So far, they lost a backup tight end. They lost a fill-in offensive tackle, backup. Like, this guy played some decent amount of football, but backup offensive tackle. And then they lost a rotational defensive tackle. So they lost some depth. In terms of what they added a fullback, an expensive one, by the way. They paid $4 million a year for this fullback. And then they added an edge rusher, Draymond Jones. They have a bunch of free agents, right? Clavon Cason was a free agent. They obviously got rid of Diggs. I would say that New England Patriots fans are probably a little bit underwhelmed with how the offseason has gone so far. Obviously, there's AJ Brown rumors, but there's no contingencies at this point, right? Like, if you don't get AJ Brown, what is the solution to upgrade from Stephon Diggs? Um, from as an Eagles fan, I kind of like I'm plotting. I'm plotting about this Patriot desperation that might be bubbling. I'm plotting. But yeah, obviously, again, there's more time. All these teams that haven't done much, they have time to do things. But yeah, if you're a Patriots fan, man, you will probably think that there's going to be now again with a quarterback on a rookie deal. You just cut Stephon Diggs. There's not a ton of expensive players on the roster that this is going to be a big swing, and you're going to get like a bunch of upgrades. But that's not it, man. They got one upgrade: edge rusher Draymond Jones. So we'll see how things work out. But New England off to a slow start. If a team cuts you and pays you to fuck off, does that mean the next team gets to pay you like nothing? You can decide what to do with that. Because surely tanking is like a low risk, high potential move. It works out. By the way, I think they both suck. Okay, so basically, the way NFL contracts work is that they have offset language. What that means is it has nothing to do with the rapper. But basically, for example, right, they paid Tua $99 million to fuck off. Whatever his team pays him this year gets deducted from the 99. So it doesn't make any sense for Tua to go to Atlanta and be like, hey, pay me $10 million. Nah, Miami's gonna pay me. So he's just getting the minimum salary from Atlanta. There's 5 quarterbacks that this applies to this year. Historically, it's applied to 2 quarterbacks, I think. Russell Wilson was in this position when he got cut by the Broncos, and there was somebody else. But yeah, like Tua is going to be on a minimum salary deal. Kyler is going to be on a minimum salary deal. Kirk Cousins is going to be on a minimum salary deal. And then so is Justin Fields and Geno Smith. So this is why the idea of Kyler, like I thought Kyler, my whole thing is if you're these quarterbacks that are going to be signing 1 year minimum salary deals, you're basically looking to go somewhere to repair your image. And I'm shocked that Minnesota isn't at the front of the list. Like for Atlanta to be Tua's first choice is ridiculous. Like I think everybody's first choice should be Minnesota because you have a great play caller, you have Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison. Like you should be able to figure something out. But yeah, fucking Tua wanted to go to Atlanta, man. God bless. This team is not qualified. It will be a dead cap, right? Yeah, for the teams that cut the players. Or you're talking about the Patriots, dude? Yeah, I mean, the NFL is unpredictable. Things change very quickly. Like things change incredibly quickly in the NFL. So yeah, Patriots, man, they have some moves to make. New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints have made some moves. Looking at what they lost Alontae Taylor, a starting corner, and Diamario Davis, a starting linebacker. So 2 quality starters on their defense. But if you look at what they've brought in, they brought in an offensive lineman from Buffalo. This guy is getting paid a decent amount. He must be decent. Travis Etienne, which is the big signing, and then a punter, a backup defensive lineman, and a backup tight end. I guess the big move here is that like they've lost 2 defensive players and they've gained 2 offensive players. So I think I'm gonna get to your comment in a bit because again I have thoughts about this. But yeah, like I think this is kind of a clear indication of like Kellen Moore getting some say. Because yeah, that's what offensive coaches do, man. Offensive coaches, they like neglecting the defense and they like loading up. So he got himself an offensive lineman. He got himself a running back. This is probably under the hope that they're better on that side of the ball. They want to make Tyler Shuck's life a little bit easier. Travis Etienne apparently is going to signal the end of Alvin Kamara's time in New Orleans. So he did say that if the Saints don't want him anymore, he's going to retire. We're going to actually fucking see if he was serious about that. But yeah, Alvin Kamara probably is going to hit the trade market. I don't know if they would cut him. I'm sure he has some value. But Travis Etienne, new running back in New Orleans, he's actually in the French part of the U.S., so we'll see if they start calling him Etienne or not. But they should. I don't know. I'm not thrilled with the signing. Like I think Etienne's good. If I was the Saints, I would probably just have drafted a running back. But I guess they could do both. They could do both. But yeah, I mean, it looks like the Saints got a little bit better offensively today, and they got a little bit worse defensively. So a bit of a shift from there. Okay, Kyler is surely a good pickup. AZ has been one of the worst teams. Not surprised to see him struggling. Yes. So this is the thing, right? Everything, for the most part, things go to die in Arizona. If you survive the shitstorm that is Arizona, that means you're actual quality, right? So my thing about Kyler is, truthfully, he is good at the sport of football. But if you think about his story, this guy was a generational high school player and an amazing college player. But the way he was dominant at those two levels, he never bothered to care to learn how to play football because he could just play off all instinct and athleticism at lower levels, right? So if I think about what Kyler Murray is, in my opinion, I think he is a talented player that just does not know how to play the game at a high level. So I still have the belief that if you look at the way some of these shit quarterbacks have turned their careers around, if Kyler Murray goes to somewhere where he can learn how to play football, I do think Kyler Murray can be pretty good. Minnesota is a very interesting spot for him because the education he could get in Minnesota could change him as a player. But bro, he can throw a football, he can run, he can play the game. He just does not know how to play it at the NFL level. So it'll be interesting to see. But again, minimum salary, there's no commitment. If he sucks, you just let him go the year after. So I just don't understand why Kyler isn't the sought after commodity. We just watched the team prioritize Tua over Kyler. Like, I can't believe it. Hey man, my bad, my bad. You're right. Respect Ryan Wright. Respect Ryan Wright. Uh, no Chiefs, no Chelsea slander accepted here. Facts. Send him to the Rams. Whoa, whoa. Let me see if this. Wait, what the hell? Am I the only one who hasn't seen this? I can't find this. Mm-mm. Philly Mike OG brother. I fear you might have been got. You might have been got. Yeah, I don't see I don't see a yeah, I don't see a Hendrickson signing yet. I don't see a Hendrickson signing. Hey, but that's what we need though. If a big signing breaks, hit me up in the chat. Posted 2 minutes ago on Instagram or something. Brother, hey, where I don't know where Caden is at, but I think the meme pages might have got you. Meme pages might have got you, OG. But yeah, Saints, a bit of a shift. All right, we're down to the last 8 teams. The New York Giants spent a bunch of money. Look. By the way, look at this. Look how funny this is, bro. Look at how funny this is. The Giants lost 5 free agents, 4 of them to Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll went back to his old team, which I don't love, by the way, but he went back to his old team to, I guess, fucking sign the trash that used to play on the Giants. But they lost Wandale. By the way, Wandale, if you guys heard what I said about Alec Pierce, copy paste to Wandale. 19.5 for Wandale Robinson is insane. I have to go look at his stats again to see if I missed something, right? But I think Wandale Robinson was probably someone who got a lot of volume because his team was trash, his offense was trash, and his receivers were trash. But how you get to the point where you justify giving him almost $20 million a year? Yo, he had 1,000-yard season? Well, that's why he got the money, right? He got the money because he got 1,000 yards. But bro, he got 1,000 yards because they were just spamming him. They just spammed Wandale Robinson, and now he's gonna be the fucking wide receiver 1 in Tennessee. Bro, I hate it here. Anyways, the Giants lost. I don't think they lost anything crazy. Cordell Flott is a good corner, but not irreplaceable. They signed Isaiah Likely. So that's good for them, right? Because they have Theo Johnson. They now have a couple of decent tight end options. They re-signed Jermaine Illuminor, who has started a lot of football games for them. They got Tremaine Edmonds to replace Bobby Okereke. So Okereke, they cut their linebacker, who I thought was decent. Then they got another decent linebacker. They got a punter. See, Genwell, I'm not gonna, miss it this time. But yeah, and then they re-signed Hodgins, which is an average receiver, and then they got Ardarius Washington, a safety who missed a lot of time last year. Funnily enough, bro, Harbaugh signs 3 Ravens because just typical Harbaugh things. I think this is an okay offseason. Like, nothing is crazy. These are just some good, steady players to raise the floor a little bit. And yeah, just like this is what I expected from Harbaugh, by the way. I never looked at, oh my God, what a play. What a defensive play by whoever that guy is. I don't know who he is. USA is balling right now. But yeah, I always thought Harbaugh was a bit more of a floor raiser than a ceiling raiser. Like, I think he's going to make sure they're competent. And that's what these signings are to me. These signings are competence. Like, this isn't about them becoming an amazing team. This is about making sure they're not a shit team. And I think that's what these kind of moves are about. New York Jets, what did they lose? They lost a guard, a linebacker, and their kicker. They brought in Demario Davis to replace Quincy Williams. They haven't replaced the guard or the kicker, but if you look at what they added 2 edge players, and I think they added some mid. Kingsley Enagbari from Green Bay and Joseph Asai from Cincinnati. That's mid. Dane Belton from the Giants. That's mid. And then they re-signed Andrew Beck. That's mid. Trey Hendrickson is definitely the best free agent left. I'm waiting for the Giants relinquishing Abdul Carter and signing for Philly circa 2020. That's what we're here for. Hold on. Do I still have that picture? Do I still have this? Hold on. There's a picture. Hey, man, never forget. Abdul Carter, huge Eagles fan. But yeah, man, the Jets have done nothing but just add mid. Even Minkah Fitzpatrick, bro. Like, King can attest to it. And I'll get him on the stream in a little bit. Minkah Fitzpatrick is mid now. And they just handed him $40 million over 3 years. The Jets just added a bunch of mid. And you know what? Maybe when you're garbage, adding mid is okay. But again, I just think, like, fucking shoot for the stars or something, Like, it just looks like they're going to, like, them and Miami are going to go band for band with just being horrible. Like, the Arch Manning race is really going to be the Jets and Dolphins, because Vegas added enough talent to where I don't think they're in that race with them. Every single bro, yeah, they fucking traded all their good players, and that's the other thing too. Is like, these guys aren't necessarily even young players. Demario Davis is in his 30s. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I think, is turning 30. They added fucking old mid. Like, this team fucking sucks, dude. I thought the way they traded players, they would just have like a youth movement, but no. Dante Moore, who I think may have been running away from the Jets, but they might catch him anyways. All right. Hey, time to talk about Philly, who has signed no free agents and lost 3 defensive pieces. Now, Nakobe Dean, who we lost, we basically replaced him in the draft last year when we drafted Jahad Campbell. But Reed Blankenship and Jalen Phillips are definitely 2 starters that we're going to have to replace. If you talk about why Philly hasn't added any players, it looks like, basically, from what I understand, the Philly basically is like, fuck, we have to pay Jalen Carter. We just paid Jordan Davis. We're going to have to pay Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean pretty soon. Like, it looks like they don't really want to spend any money on anybody that's not great. So it's like, we'll pay Jordan Davis because we think he's great. We're going to pay all those guys because we think they're great. But if we're going to pay all these great players, we can't really afford a middle class. So, like, if you think about, well, we can't afford the middle class. We also can't afford overpayments. Jalen Phillips is a crazy overpay. Reed Blankenship, this is like $8 million a year. This is a middle class that I don't think that you can afford when you're trying to pay as many players as we are. The tough thing about this is that, like, the Eagles, if they want to be a Super Bowl contender again, they have to get better. Like, this approach, I feel like, is more about, like, maintaining your core and then hoping that you draft well enough to where you become great again. But we have to get better. It doesn't look like we're going to be doing it by spending money, because we're going to have so much money tied up into our current team. And as is, right, we have money tied up into our offense, and we're going to have to pay the defense soon. So it looks like Philly is going to really be relying on the draft. They've been drafting really, really well, but like, I don't think this is going to work. I think drafting well is really, really hard. So the way we've killed the last 3 drafts, I actually think some worse picks are probably coming, because that's just how it works. Like, drafting is like shooting a basketball. If you make 10 shots in a row, I don't just assume you're never going to miss. I assume the misses are coming. That's kind of how I look at things. So I think the Eagles are probably going to be like, it looks like we're shaping up to be like a 10-11 win team, probably not real contenders, but yeah, it's bro, we have a lot of good players that teams want to sign. Fucking Jalen Phillips gets $30 million a year. Josh Sweat got over 20 last year. Milton Williams got 26. We're having a hard time dealing with that, and I think we're going to suffer as a result of it. I saw the Eagles want to get rid of Jalen Carter. So here's what I'll put it this way. I don't think the thing is that we want to get rid of Jalen Carter. I think that if somebody was willing to trade 2 first-round picks for Jalen Carter, it would resolve a headache. Like, if we didn't have to pay him and we pay Moro Ojomo and Jordan Davis at defensive tackle, and then we could get 2 first-round picks to then add some more cheap talent to round out the roster, I think they look at that as something that could alleviate some headaches. But the thing you have to worry about with Jalen Carter is that he played basically every snap of football the year we won the Super Bowl. And then he came back last year and his shoulders were fucked all of last year. You guys don't remember this, you guys might not remember this, but he had a shoulder injury in training camp that he basically never healed from. And in the middle of the year, he found himself not being able to shoulder press. Like, he could not physically lift any weight above his head. So he had to get stem cells injected into both shoulders and then miss a month just to come back and play good. Like, not great, but good. There is some concern about Jalen Carter's long-term health. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. But, like, I imagine it's not something that he won't be able to recover from. But there is a concern that maybe playing him like every single snap last year may have cooked him. So there's that, as well as that maybe you might want to trade him before people realize that he's cooked and get some value. But again, we have some pretty complicated decisions to make. And it seems to just result in us not really wanting to budge. And I think we're going to suffer from that on the football field. Pittsburgh Steelers. They've lost Isaac Samalo, Kenneth Gainwell, and James Pierre. I don't think James Pierre is a big deal, but Kenneth Gainwell and Isaac Samalo are 2 pretty good players. And then basically what they've added so far is Michael Pittman and Rico Dowdle. So Rico Dowdle, I think, is an upgrade of Kenneth Gainwell. I think, look, obviously Kenneth Gainwell was awesome for them last year, like really good. But Rico Dowdle's a different kind of running back. He's, again, a more between the tackles kind of a player. And I think this is probably an indication that their offense is going to change from Rodgers throwing the ball a bunch and having a pass catching running back out there. So probably, if you think about Jalen Warren plus Rico Dowdle, that's a whole lot of running the ball up the middle. Looks like they're going to have a pretty physical running game. Michael Pittman, again, I think he's going to excel quite a bit as a wide receiver too, as opposed to the wide receiver 1 that he had to be in Indy. And when I think about the age profile of the team, right, DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman are your receivers. Freiermuth, Warren, and Rico Dowdle are your running backs. This isn't really a young team. So maybe the Aaron Rodgers thing makes sense because this isn't a young team. It's not a young coach. Like, I don't think Pittsburgh is rebuilding. I think Pittsburgh is trying to be good. And I don't know if they're going to be able to achieve that with Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, man, Rico Dowdle and Michael Pittman are going to be good players for them. We'll just see if they can address their other needs. Down to the last 5 teams. The San Francisco 49ers lost Kendrick Bourne, but they upgraded him by signing Mike Evans. And the only other move they made was a depth offensive lineman. Okay, I'll say this. Kendrick Bourne to Mike Evans is an upgrade, but think about it this way. If you take Mike Evans's injury issues and the Niners' injury issues and you put that together, what do you get? realistically, an injury-plagued season. So while Mike Evans, if on the football field, is going to be a big upgrade and a very different kind of receiver, I just don't think he's going to be on the field. Because why would you assume he's going to be on the field? Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. So again, good luck to San Fran and and Mike Evans. I just don't see health happening for them. The big question becomes, though, what do they do with Trent Williams? Because, again, their offensive line, I think, has really been held together by Trent Williams for the most part. And if they trade him, what happens then? I hope Vidarian Lowe isn't their Trent Williams replacement plan, but I could see that going pretty poorly. We'll see what else they do. They have a bunch of other needs for sure. Seattle Seahawks. All right. Finally, we're back to Seattle. If we look at what Seattle has lost, again, Boye Mafe, Kenneth Walker, and Kobe Bryant, all pretty sizable deals. Nobody making less than $13 million a year. And then the two players they've resigned, they resigned Josh Jobe and Rashid Shaheed. Josh Jobe is their cornerback 3. So $8 million a year for a cornerback 3 is like a pretty steady number. He comes in on the outside and they kick Witherspoon into the inside when they play with 3 corners. Tariq Woolen was the outside corner starting this past season out beside Josh Jobe. I don't think that Josh Jobe could play that role. I think Josh Jobe was a part-time player last year, and that's what he should be. Tariq Woolen is also a free agent, so we'll see if they're able to bring him back. But yeah, man, lots of decisions to make for the Seahawks about who should come and who should go. Rashid Shaheed is an interesting choice because I thought it was a weird trade from the standpoint of I didn't think the offense needed him as a receiver, and then I watched how he integrated into the team, and I think that kind of was reflected because I don't think that beside JSN you get the most out of Rashid Shaheed. Everything Rashid Shaheed is good at, JSN is better at. Like, he's not a compliment. There's actually a lot of overlap. But I think he was just so dynamic as a punt returner that, like, there's just so much value there. And if you could figure out another way to use Rashid Shaheed as a receiver, then you could make the $17 million worth it pretty easily. But, yeah, it's going to be a challenge for sure for the Seahawks to balance all the free agents they have and replacing the ones that they lose. And then there's the other thing of the fact that Brian Fleury is running their offense. And frankly, who is Brian Fleury? Like, we don't know anything about this guy. So we don't really know what his tendencies are or whatever. K9 to the Chiefs is crazy. It's only going to be crazy if their offensive line is good, man. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They made some pretty steady moves here. Nothing splashy, right? They lost Mike Evans, but they basically replaced Mike Evans last year in the draft with Emeka Egbuka. If you look at how they've spent their money, they re-signed Cade Otton. I think $10 million a year is an overpay. They brought in Anzalone and Kenneth Gainwell. I think both those guys are good players, right? Kenneth Gainwell is going to be an awesome backup for Bucky Irving. Both of those are pretty good running backs. Hopefully they can become a run-first offense next year because they have the running backs to do it. I think with another offensive lineman, they could have the offensive line to do it as well. But yeah, they could definitely make life easier for Baker and take the ball out of his hands so he doesn't do as much crazy shit if they ran the hell out of the ball. And they have the 2 running backs to do it. Alex Anzalone is going to help. Good linebacker. They could probably use more because Levante David, I mean, he's going to be trash at some point. We'll see when it happens. But decent moves for Tampa. Nothing crazy, but solid players. Down to our last 2 teams. The Tennessee Titans spent so much money today. If we look at what they lost, all they lost was Arden Key, a pass rusher. But they made a ton of moves. Oddly enough, they haven't replaced that pass rusher yet. But they got Wan'Dale Robinson, which I think is a bad deal. He's an okay player, but a bad deal. John Franklin Myers, I think this is a good player. Actually, you know what? All these guys are good players. It's just probably too much money, but that's what you have to do when you're Tennessee. Dane Bellinger, this is, I don't know, $8 million a year. That's an overpay. I don't think you need to pay $8 million to blocking tight ends. Austin Schlottman, I think this is a depth offensive lineman, backup quarterback, and then Joshua Williams. They literally signed 3 secondary players today, right? Alante Taylor, Cordell Flott, and Joshua Williams. That's their corner duo right there. 1, 2, 3. But yeah, we'll see how it works. I don't think they signed like any home runs here at all, but it looks like Robert Saleh basically addressed all the weaknesses so that they can go BPA in the draft. So we'll see how that happens. I will say though, I'm not a big fan of Brian Daboll reaching back to Green Bay and just bringing hella Giants with him. Like if I'm the Titans, the last thing I want is some of that Giants stench on me. That's definitely not what I brought him in for. And again, it's like Cordell Flott aside, and oddly enough, he's the defensive player. Like I don't think Bellinger, Wandale, or Schlottman are like amazing players either. So not that a big fan of that side of things, but the Titans did do quite a bit to address their weaknesses and make them like not huge needs. The last team in discussion is the Washington man said Wizards. You're right though, it's the Commanders. So the Commanders have lost Biadish. They also cut a few other players. They haven't replaced Biadish yet, but they basically got all defensive pieces and they re-signed Marcus Mariota. Now, I think all these players are good. But the Odafe Owe contract is a massive overpay. That being said, they need an edge rusher in the worst way, so at least they got a guy. The question just has to remain that Baltimore wasn't able to get the best out of him, but then a great defensive coordinator and Jesse Minter did. The Commanders just have to make sure that they get the best out of him because clearly he's not a player that just suits every situation. So there's a chance you may have paid that guy a lot of money and you might not get the production. Tim Settle from Houston, good player. I don't think he was the reason Houston was great, but he's a good player. Amik Robertson, awesome slot corner. He's going to slot in, no pun intended, and be a quality slot for them. He'll be changing codes soon. Man, imagine Lou Dort as an edge rusher, man. That would be something. All right, so those are the 32 teams. With that said, hey, King, I'm hopping you in. I got the 32 teams. We can just bullshit now.
All right. We're here. We can watch the game and do whatever we want. So,
hell yeah, Kaden. Hell yeah. I'm dropping the link in.
yep.
What do you guys have any thoughts? Because again, I covered all the bases so that there's nothing we're missing. Let me know what you guys want to talk about.
Well, since I'm here, I might as well talk about what we've been doing so far in the off season. So far, I don't know how I feel. I like Rico and I do like Pittman, but I also feel like we're still older, so not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully the draft really gives us some pieces. We should have quite a few picks. Also, I will be going to the draft.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Have fun.
Who knows? I might show up while being in the draft. You might get a live reaction out of me.
Yo, hopefully we do. But yeah, man, Pippen and Gainwell they're good pieces. We'll just see if they can get everything else sorted out. Because they do need more. Oh, damn, we got Caden as well. Hey, man, Caden, thoughts?
Oh, before I say, so King, you're gonna be at the draft?
Yeah, he's going to the draft.
Wait, where is it this year?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's cool. So he
That's why-
so he doesn't
that's
have to drive that far.
Yeah, that's why he can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
It's by West
be-
Point or North Point. Wonder. Yeah, nice catch.
I'm gonna be streaming all 3 days of the draft. So
Nice catch.
Hold on. The Jets and Giants are among teams interested in Brian Thomas Jr. Hey, man,
crazy.
beware of the Jets. The Giants would be cool because him and neighbors would be reunited, but beware of the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Dobbins back to Denver, 2 years, 10 million each. That's fair.
Could I
Uh,
give you my thoughts on the free agents we picked up today?
hell yeah, man. Go ahead, man. Hey, you specifically said you didn't want Tua.
Yeah,
You specifically said that. So now that you're
Yes, he
what are
got
your
that.
thoughts?
okay. So as I like
Yeah, what
during
a
school,
throw,
during
brother.
school and stuff, like all these like trades happen. So it was like
Yeah.
I had to like catch up right when I after school and stuff. And so I saw that we had signed Nick Folk, and so I
Mhm.
was like, oh, like what happened to Gonzalez and stuff. And then I went and like I was like told my dad I was like likely we might be getting Kyler Murray today because like I mean the free agency stuff is like been rolling. And then as I'm about to start my homework, I get a notification that we got Tua, and then I get so mad. What? No, I got disappointed because I wanted Kyler.
Yeah.
And then I told my dad, and my dad's like, "Oh, sweet." I was like, "But that's not good because he might get injured and stuff." And then my dad's like, "But is he going to be starting?" I was like, "Probably not."
He's gonna have to before Penix is healthy. I just wonder when Penix is gonna get healthy.
And then um, I saw that we got Austin Hooper. I think that was Matt Ryan's idea to
to, to
reconnect with him because I didn't know this, but he was drafted the same year that they went into the Super Bowl. And then he was on the Falcons for a while, and then he was on the team that beat the Falcons in the Super Bowl, and then now he's back on the Falcons. So that's one positive thing. And then I made a video about it. Okay.
but I mean, like, I hear that, but yo, backup tight end, hour to a free agency, just like it's not it when you have so many other more serious needs. Like, there's nothing wrong with having him. It's just like it. I would say it's almost like something wrong with him being the priority. Where's Jimmy G this season? We'll see. We'll see. I think probably a candidate in places like Miami, Cleveland, and New York. Or he could ring chase and be a backup on a good team.
Damn.
But he has choices. Who knows? He could be on the Chiefs.
It's thunderstorming here tonight.
Hmm?
It's thunderstorming here tonight.
Damn, bro. Tua, the night that Tua arrives, there's thunder.
Yes.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it's not gonna go great. Broncos have inquired about Romeo Dobbs. I mean, I don't know. The thing is, their receiving core is just a bunch of mid. So, like, I don't know why they want more mid. Maybe mid is harsh, but they have like solid receivers, and this would just be another one.
So we have to be cool.
The Packers have less players than they started the day with. Facts. The Packers did nothing but lose Malik Willis and Rashawn Gary.
The grassy bossy.
Man, the Grassy Posse got like smaller.
I wonder how he feels because he just got back from vacation from Hawaii, and and now he has to deal with all this stuff now.
N'Kobe Dean was offered a similar deal by the Cowboys, but he went with his gut. His gut led him to Vegas. His gut was basically just knowing that and they won't like me in Philly anymore if I go to Dallas. How the draft will go: Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, figure out the rest. Interesting. Arch Manning, you are a Jet. Yeah, man. Yeah, the Jets and Dolphins. It's going to be a neck and neck race for that number one overall
Mhm.
pick.
Jets and Dolphins.
Yep.
Wait, so Max Crosby to the Ravens, right? So did the Raiders or Ravens trade their first round pick for that, right?
Yeah.
Or okay, so
First round pick this year and next year.
they have two first round picks this year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What are the odds that Mendoza does not go to Las Vegas?
That he doesn't go, or like slim to none, bro. He's going number one overall. See, it's close friend Josh Allen, not brother.
Hmm.
Oh man, congrats, Shay. Niners need to hire the doctors behind Kawhi's rejuvenation. They have to come up north to get those doctors, though, man. Nobody knew better what to do with Kawhi than the Raptors doctors.
I can't believe we lost Tyler Algier
Yo, who the hell are these guys?
and D. Alfred.
The Bills need safeties, man. I don't know who Jordan Hancock and Cole Bishop are.
We lost D. Alfred. Crazy.
I think you guys have someone else though. 1 second.
We have Clark Phillips or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Clark Phillips. I'm pretty sure you'll be fine. Well, also, like if you look at the trio that, I mean, I guess you're good with Billy Bowman and AJ Terrell. You probably could upgrade from Mike Hughes, I think.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Okay, so when I do my stream on Saturday, I'm gonna have to like figure out how to like get it like information. What is the best like source of information to use like that you usually use?
What kind of information?
Like just any information about the NFL.
I mean, for contract stuff, it's this website Spotrac. Where is it? This one, Spotrac. For depth chart stuff, it's this website, Our Lads.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is just Twitter for me.
Okay.
All right, there was another page I wanted to look at on stream. No, I don't want to tweet this. I want to search something. NFL
memes. NFL Mike memes, bro.
Drake London right now. Look at Drake London trying to hop off the bus in Atlanta, man.
That's not Drake London.
It is. Tua trying to remember his name when signing his contract with the Falcons. Don't kill me. Falcons after seeing an immobile left-handed quarterback with major health ailments, and then it's this guy falling in love. Yo, this NFL memes is just slandering Tua. That's it. Tua has put his South Florida home for sale, and it's the medical tent. Falcons going from a quarterback with tendons made of old rubber bands to a quarterback with scrambled eggs and cheese as a brain.
Oh my gosh.
This page is actually talking about nothing. Oh my god, more Falcons. No way.
This is today is National Napping Day.
National Napping Day, and it's the Bengals GM.
This is crazy, bro.
Patriots fans waiting for their team to make a splash in free agency. Yeah, it never happened.
Yeah, it ain't never gonna happen.
Wait, hold on. Go back up.
What?
It says, just saw a Buccaneers fan fall onto his knees.
At Publix. Hold on. I still haven't clicked your links, General. 1 second.
He's probably like, why did you leave me? He's probably like, why did you leave me, Mike?
Oh, yeah. That one is fucking killing me, man. 1 second. You say which one? Let me see what this opens up to. Oh,
why does
there's
most
no
of
right
the
answer to this.
Why does
Oh
most
my
of the
god,
memes?
there's no right answer to this. I cannot pick one, General.
Why does most of the memes have to be related to the Falcons?
Cause bro, I mean, think about it, bro. The title of this video is "What the fuck is Atlanta doing?" I think the football community is unifying around not understanding what Atlanta is doing.
Yo, Atlanta must be on that good stuff. Both them and the Hawks.
Legit.
My friends would say that Atlanta is on the tism.
Yo, there's a 61% chance the Falcons are complete ass next year.
I mean,
Yo,
it might be more than 61.
Tua and Publix have agreed to terms on a 2-year, $20 per hour
Oh my
deal.
gosh. Geno Smith at the Wendy's.
Yeah, and then look at the Dolphins with the Packers colors because that's basically what they became this offseason.
The Miami Packers.
Yeah, the entire Miami Marlins payroll,
$67.
$67 million. Tua's dead cap hit, 99.
No meme intended.
Oh,
As we're on the meme page.
Yo, me during the military draft. Do you guys know who this is?
No.
yes.
Okay, King does. Caden Willis. You know Laramie Tunsil, the Commanders' left tackle?
No. I don't
Well, he's
follow
a
the
really good left
Commanders.
tackle. And on draft night, he was supposed to be drafted third overall. But then
Bro
this
has to say
video
my
of
full name.
him smoking out of a bong dropped like 2 hours before the draft. It just got posted on the internet anonymously. And then he fell to like number 13 in the draft just because he smoked, like this video of him smoking came out.
Bro had to say my full name.
Ooh.
You said Caden Willis.
No, I said Laramie Tunsil.
Like when you were about to tell me about it, you said my full name.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Hey, I did not
Just-
do that, so thanks for exposing the gov.
It's like because like nobody else like calls me by my full name except for my parents.
Hey, bro, but your channel is Caden Willis, and your
Yes.
name
It's
on
not right
StreamYard,
there.
right, your name on StreamYard right now is Caden Willis.
Yes.
It's not a
'Cause-
secret.
Like,
Well, at least you don't know my middle name.
Obvious secret
I will
ever.
never tell you my middle name.
I feel like your middle name would be like Matthew or something.
It's not.
Does
I'll
it
give you
start
a
with
hint.
a
It starts with a
J?
J.
I knew it. I knew it started with a J. Jackson,
No.
James,
No. You'll never know.
Johnson.
No. It's like so obvious. Like you're not even saying
John,
it. No.
Jack,
No.
Jeremy,
No.
Jimmy.
No.
James,
No.
I said James.
Jerry,
No.
Jay.
No.
Jeremiah. No, I'm kidding.
No. You'll never know.
Yo, what's his name? Lemon, Makai Lemon. Freaky
Oh yeah.
ass dude, man.
What did he do?
Wait, what?
Wait, what did he do?
Oh, let me pull this up.
I'm not gonna lie, I have not seen a lick of this off season, so I don't know what's been happening.
So this is Makai Lemon. Wait, is this the? Okay, no, I need a better video. These aren't. Oh, okay. So King, you haven't seen this. Caden, have you seen this?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear this when I play it? Let me know. Could you hear
No.
that?
No.
No.
Really? Okay, hold on. Let me see what I can do because the audio's on in the video. What happens if I make it big screen? What did this do?
Wait, do we have to click the unmute button maybe?
Maybe. Is there an unmute button here? No, I don't know. Hold on.
No,
So
like
you guys
for on our side here. Like whenever like you go to those Stephen
let
A.
me know in the
Smith
chat if
clips,
you can hear anything.
like those Stephen A. Smith clips, like where we have to like
No.
Damn. Okay. Well, there's no point if it doesn't end up being audible. But
I'll just look
basically,
it up.
they
Like,
just look up.
Send me a
Makai-
link or something.
Bro, I didn't even have to do anything. I just typed in Makai Lemon and just for actually, without hearing the audio, just look at it. Just look at
The
how
way
he's
his face is.
answering the question.
Wait, his face,
Oh,
bro.
you can tell he's light skinned.
That's
What?
basically what
That's
everyone's
his
saying.
light skin moment. Okay.
He's just talking to the reporter like he's trying to like impress the reporter in a really weird way. It's fucked up though because he's good at football, man. But it's weird. It's just extremely weird.
March
But yo,
Madness.
people. This was a lot of fun. Shout out to everybody in here. We talked about everything that there is to talk about. And we are gonna wrap it up.
Wait,
Here.
what time with OKC? Sorry, I got distracted.
Oh, OKC Denver.
Yes, it's
Ooh,
tied
lock in.
up.
That's a big matchup.
Wait, hold
Yo,
on, wait,
you
wait,
need that
King,
revenge on Lou Dort.
King.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're big into the March Madness stuff, but I'm gonna be streaming some games. So if you ever want to hop on the streams, I'll be live.
I'm not really locked in until like Sweet 16. I'm not gonna hold it to you.
Same.
Once
Okay,
Sweet
well,
16's in, that's when I'm locked in.
all right, well, I'm gonna still be streaming anyways, because to see how far Georgia gets.
Uh,
Oh, come on, US.
but yeah. I'm gonna see you guys on Thursday night. I won't be able to stream the next 2 nights. So on Thursday night, we'll have a bunch of shit to talk about. We'll have like 3 days of stuff to talk about. So see you guys on Thursday night. Big up to everybody in here. Make
I'll
sure you
be
guys
live on Saturday.
make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna let Stephen A. Smith send us off as always. I will see you guys on Thursday night.
Y'all take it easy. I'm out. Y'all